Today, we will be discussing Chapter 3, Section 2, which is found on page 67 of your book. It is titled, The Atmosphere. When you finish this section, you should be able to describe the composition of Earth's atmosphere, describe the layers of the Earth's atmosphere, explain 3 mechanisms of heat transfer in the Earth's atmosphere, and explain the greenhouse effect. Why do planes fly as much as 10 kilometers above the ground? Write the response in your science journal. Most commercial airlines fly their planes at about 10,000 meters, which is 10 kilometers, because the air at that altitude is less dense, so the planes experience less drag and require less fuel when they are moving through the air. Also, the air is less turbulent above cloud level. The atmosphere is a mixture of gases that surrounds a planet such as Earth. Nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, and other gases are all parts of this mixture. Gases can be added to and removed from the atmosphere through living organisms. For example, animals remove oxygen when they breathe in and add carbon dioxide when they breathe out. Volcanic eruptions also add gases to the atmosphere, while vehicles both add and remove gases. The atmosphere also insulates Earth's surface. This insulation slows the rate at which the Earth's surface loses heat and keeps Earth's temperature at a temperature that living things can survive. Nitrogen makes up 78% of the Earth's atmosphere and enters the atmosphere when volcanoes erupt and when dead plants and animals decay. Oxygen is the second most abundant gas in the atmosphere and is primarily produced by plants. In addition to nitrogen and oxygen, other gases such as argon, carbon dioxide, methane, and water vapor make up the rest of the atmosphere. The atmosphere also contains many types of tiny solid particles, or atmospheric dust. The Earth's atmosphere is pulled towards Earth's surface by gravity, and as a result, the atmosphere is denser near the Earth's surface. Almost the entire mass of the Earth's atmospheric gases are located within 30 kilometers of the surface. Air also becomes less dense with elevation, so breathing at a higher elevation is more difficult. The atmosphere is divided into 4 layers based on temperature changes that occur at different distances above the Earth's surface. These 4 layers include the troposphere, the stratosphere, the mesosphere, and the thermosphere. The troposphere is the lowest layer of the atmosphere in which temperature drops at a constant rate as the altitude increases. This is the part of the atmosphere where the weather conditions exist. The troposphere is the Earth's densest atmospheric layer and extends to 18 kilometers above the Earth's surface. The stratosphere is the layer of atmosphere that lies immediately above the troposphere and extends from about 18 to 50 kilometers above the Earth's surface. Temperature rises as the altitude increases because ozone in the stratosphere absorbs the sun's ultraviolet energy, known as UV rays, and warms the air. Ozone, written as O3, is a gas molecule that is made up of 3 oxygen atoms. Almost all the ozone in the atmosphere is concentrated in the stratosphere. Because ozone absorbs ultraviolet radiation, it reduces the amount of harmful UV radiation that reaches the Earth. UV radiation that does reach the Earth can damage living cells. The layer above the stratosphere is the mesosphere. This layer extends to an altitude of about 80 kilometers. This is the coldest layer of the atmosphere, where temperatures have been measured to be as low as minus 93 degrees Celsius. The atmospheric layer located furthest from the Earth's surface is the thermosphere. Here, nitrogen and oxygen absorb solar radiation, resulting in temperatures measuring above 2000 degrees Celsius. The air in the thermosphere is so thin that air particles rarely collide. So little heat is transferred, and it would not feel hot to us. In the thermosphere, the absorption of X-rays and gamma rays by nitrogen and oxygen causes atoms to become electrically charged. These electrically charged atoms are called ions, and ions can radiate energy as sunlight. These lights often glow in spectacular colors in the night skies near Earth's north and south poles. This phenomenon is called the aurora borealis. There are other types of energy transfers in the atmosphere. Radiation is the energy that is transferred as electromagnetic waves, such as visible light and infrared waves. Conduction is the transfer of energy as heat through a material. And convection is the movement of matter due to the differences in density caused by temperature variations. This results in the transfer of energy as heat. Solar energy reaches Earth as electromagnetic radiation, which includes visible light, infrared radiation, and ultraviolet light. About half of the solar energy that enters the atmosphere passes through to reach the Earth's surface. The rest of the energy is absorbed or reflected in the atmosphere by clouds, gases, and dust, or reflected by the Earth's surface. This is the reason why the Earth does not have extreme temperature changes. The Earth and the land radiate the absorbed heat energy back into the atmosphere. Dark-colored objects absorb more solar radiation than light-colored objects, so dark objects have more energy to release as heat. This is one reason the temperature in cities is higher than the temperature in the surrounding countryside. As a current of air, which is warmed by the Earth's surface, rises into the atmosphere, it begins to cool. The cooled air eventually becomes more dense than the air around it, and it will sink. The current then moves back towards Earth, becomes heated and less dense again, and then begins to rise. The continual process of warm air rising and cool air sinking and moving air in a circular motion is called convection currents. The greenhouse effect is the warming of the surface and lower atmosphere of the Earth. Without the greenhouse effect, Earth would be too cold for life to exist. The gases in the atmosphere that trap and radiate heat are called greenhouse gases. The most abundant greenhouse gases are water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide. The quantities of carbon dioxide and methane in the atmosphere vary considerably as a result of nature and man-made processes. The greenhouse effect is what makes it so dangerous to live any living thing in a parked car with the windows rolled up. The windows of the car allows the sun's heat to radiate into the car, but does not allow the heat to escape, as shown in this slide. The temperature inside the car can get dangerously high and can cause death to living things.